Hello, this is a rank sentimentalist, and this is my Empire Total War, American Civil War, Brother versus Brothers, Zone of Recruitment 3.5 Beta Let's Play. That is certainly a mouthful. I love the Total War games. The first one I played was Rome, and I played the bejesus out of that. I've played a ton of the mods. I think I may do a Let's Play on Roma Surrectum 2.5. But I really loved Empire, although certainly I think rifle fire between ranged units was definitely a weakness in Medieval 2, and I was a little worried about how that was going to affect Empire, since it was totally based on, basically musket fire. But in the end, it turned out pretty well. So we're going into the Civil War camp. Let's check the options here real quick for sound. The master volume. 10.5. Okay. The single player, the Civil War. We are playing as the Confederate States. We're going to play on medium. Because I'm a big turtler, so usually when they say hard, I end up playing on medium, and it works out. Alright, start game. Short campaign. We have to hold 15 regions by the end of 1865. The thing about this, basically have to hold the whole middle of the country up the Mississippi, and we also have to hold New France, which may bring us into conflict with England, which would be unfortunate. Start the game. I am willing to serve my country, but do not wish to sacrifice the brave men under my command. U.S. General John Buford. Wonder what happened to him. You're fired. Step into my office, because you're fucking fired. Okay. So we are the South. Now this is the Warpath camp map. So it's the version of the game based on the Warpath campaign, which gives us all the way out here to Texas. Baja, California. What is this? No, Baja's out here, right? I don't know. I live in California, I should know. But I'm from the East Coast, so hey. Let's look over the map. So we have to protect ourselves from the north, and war is probably going to break out in 5 or 6 turns, so we don't have that much time to prepare. So we want to probably reinforce Richmond, Virginia. Jackson, Mississippi. New Orleans we may develop a little later, but probably not right now. And Midland, West Texas, because we may come into conflict with Mexico. We will do what we have to do. So it's January of 1861. We have 50,000, I don't know, dollars, whatever. Yeah, they'd be dollars, Confederate dollars. Alright, so you'll see, here we have Maryland volunteers and Virginia volunteers. And we have Robert E. Lee. So there are general units that are representative of, the famous generals of the Civil War, and there are units specific to each state. Now the volunteers, and this is where the zone of recruitment comes in the title of the mod, are tied to farms. So the first time I checked out this mod, so you could recruit a total of 8 Virginia volunteers, and I had 6 recruited with Robert E. Lee here in the capital, Richmond. The Union came down, raided this farm. I went to recruit 2 more volunteers, and it wouldn't let me do it. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? Tried to do some research. I thought it was a bug, but it was just that is how the zone of recruitment works. So you need to protect your territory from all those marauding, Union armies of 1 and 2 units that come through. Luckily, you have some very cool, unique Confederate units equipped to do that, like Mosby's Raiders, etc., etc. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to improve all these cheapy farms for $650, and plus they'll be done by the time war breaks out. So everything that costs $650, we're going, let's see, now there isn't really a tech tree per se, but you do unlock certain techs by building certain buildings. And we'll get to that in a second. But let's small tobacco. Where is this? Missouri. This from Kentucky. We'll go with tobacco. On the other side of the river is the Union. Those crossings will become very important. That the Union AI, and I've started a few campaigns before checking this out, is remarkably smart, and they are a couple of different strategies that they use. For example, sometimes they will attack you out here in the west. Sometimes they will totally ignore the west. Sometimes they will just camp at the river crossings in the west but not actually attack. I think we're going to tear this down, and we'll build a church school there probably. And we want to build a silver mine there. Now we definitely don't want to blow all our money, and we don't want to build up too much in areas that are initially going to get overrun by the Union. And Mexico can be kind of a pain too, because they'd really like to have Texas and New Mexico back if it was up to them. So we do not want to let that happen. Okay, we also want to put in a level of infrastructure. So they have simple roads and railways. In Carolina, we'll put in simple roads and railways. In Georgia, simple roads and railways. Yep. hopefully what we'll be able to do is build a few very professional butt-kicking armies and be able to move fast enough around the map that we'll be able to stomp the more numerous Union forces. And we do end up with quite a few good generals, as you might imagine, being the South. Now the generals are only available for 2 turns. So it's basically recruit them or lose them, even if you have to stash them somewhere. And there's no, there's no mechanism like governors for them to build those, or any reason for them to build those kind of traits. Now let's diplomatic relations while we're at it. So let's provinces. Trading with them. How about provinces? And there's a weird mechanism where they keep bargaining you up and up. Alright. Set their demands. Yeah, let me see. France. See, France accepts, and then watch this. I go back and do these guys again, and they'll accept for 11,000. How about Spain? Request trade agreement. Mexico. Give me a break. Let's see. They wanted 11,000 last time. Yeah, and this time they'll just go for it, because they want our cotton. Haiti, let's see what's up with them. This trade agreement. No. Refuse offer. So no. But it looks like we do have some very lucrative trade agreements set up. I'm told do not do any kind of agreements with the United States, or at least a military alliance. Maybe you can do I've done a trade agreement and they've attacked me, so. But then again, I'm the South, I can attack them. Even though technically, I guess the North did mobilize first. Kind of like how Russia mobilized first in World War I, but the Germans got blamed for it, I guess. Okay. So we got 25,000 left. Okay, so we have to make sure we do a couple things. As I said, the volunteers, we can have one Maryland volunteer 8 Virginia volunteers, and they're going to be better than, say, a Confederate conscript. You see, they're, what, 34,597, and they're 36,699. But, let's see, you have the Alabama volunteers down here, and they're 35,587. And these guys are 33,699. 36,610. So the Mississippi volunteers, those Alabama 699. So yeah, so the Alabama volunteers, I might send them out west to fight with the Texans. But I definitely, so I want to recruit some units this turn. In Virginia, I want to recruit Robert E. Lee. And I want to make sure I start recruiting some artillery. I'm going to recruit a 12-pound Napoleon, and I can only have 4 of them total. And I'm going to end up with 4 armies here pretty quick. So I'm going to recruit one of these there, one of these there, and one there. We still have 18,000. So we want to upgrade this. Let me see, infrastructure. I'm going to knock that down. It really doesn't do me any good. Now our first attack we're going to do that. Is going to be against Kentucky. And that'll be really easy to seize that. And the best thing about these two is that they can reinforce each other. So if you have garrisons in both cities, if the Union attacks one, the other little army will show up. But hopefully we will not have to rely upon garrison forces, as I think we're going to have a fairly decent army protecting this, what's this, the Ohio River Valley? I don't know. Appalachia. Okay. So here we want to build I think a regional command and an ordnance school. Let's see how we want to do this. Regional command. So we have spent all our money, but I doing what we have to do. Okay, I think that is it for turn 1. So we will end the turn. And in between each turn, they kind of have the news of what's going on, and the headlines are the American Civil War is a bitter sectional rebellion between the United States of America and the Confederate States of America. Manufacturing. Union's victory was eventually achieved by leveraging advantages in population, manufacturing, and logistics, and through a strategic naval blockade denying the South's access to the world's markets. At its root, the American Civil War was about the human impulse not to submit willingly to the power of the majority to oppress. It is this sacred heritage, the power of the people to change their government, that both free black and white alike shared. Though sorely used in the post-war struggle for social equality between the races, the flag of the Confederate States of America is a most poignant reminder of this fact. The Confederacy fought for their common law rights regarding slavery and their legal right to leave the Union, whilst the Union fought to preserve the Union and enforce the U.S. Constitution over common law regarding slavery. Yeah, definitely. We're probably one of the few countries that people dress up and recreate their Civil War. Usually it's a pretty horrendous, just bloody, horrible memory. And certainly, almost, 600,000 Americans died, and you had, another another half that many in casualties. Wounded and whatnot, and maimed, and most of the dead probably died from disease. In fact, they definitely died from disease, and from actual battlefield casualties. But despite all that, it's still, really romanticized. If you look at those pictures of, Fredericksburg, it looks like the Vicksburg, Richmond, it looks like something out of World War II when it happened in, not with strategic bombers, but with 19th century technology. Alright, first we're going to make sure we build this other thing we didn't get to over here, right? The regional command. 25,000. Building simple roads. The next thing we're going to build, let's build up the State House. Building there. got 2 turns left on that. Down here. Look at that cavalry. Well, yeah, why don't we build a unit of cavalry? Here. Recruitment. I have a unit of Maryland Volunteers and a unit of Virginia Volunteers. Okay, and now we will this cotton plantation in Georgia. Okay. I think we're ready to end the turn. A trade agreement. Let's see. Counteroffer. No. 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 No, I don't jest. Okay, the South secedes. February 1861. When Abraham Lincoln, a Republican, staunch Unionist, and known opponent of slavery, was elected President of the United States, the South Carolina legislature perceives a threat. Calling a state convention, the delegates vote to remove the state of South Carolina from the Union on the 20th of December 1860, claiming it their constitutional right to do so. The secession of South Carolina is followed by 6 more states: Mississippi on January 9th, Florida on the 10th of January, Alabama on the 11th, Georgia on the 19th, Louisiana on the 26th, and Texas the 1st of February 1861. In contrast, the territory of Kansas is given statehood and admitted into the Union. It became known, I guess it was known even before then, as Bloody Kansas. Telescopic sight, the Sharps rifle. Okay. Now let's see here. We definitely want to recruit 3 units of Tennessee Volunteers, because when war breaks out, they are going to attack Frankfort, Kentucky. We want to recruit 2 more units of Virginia Volunteers. Here, let's see. We do not have any other generals available. We got Vidette Cavalry. Recruit, we will recruit 2 units of Texas Volunteers. Now I know in the actual Civil War, Hoods, what do they call them? Hoods Texans fought in the east. But in this game, they're probably going to have to stay out west, because there will be quite a bit of action, I think, here. Church school. Church school. I've got 9,000. Oh no, we also need to recruit people to defend these ports. Right. Well, looks like we've done everything we could. The Union has declared war on me. That's not good. At a convention, so late February 1861, Confederate Civil Service is formed. Robert E. Lee joins the Confederacy. The South creates a government, electing Jefferson Davis as president. Provisional president. Luckily, our artillery is ready just in time. Okay, I think we're going to actually end this right here, and next time we will kick off the war. Have a good one.